Okay, this is really unusual weather, but like they say, golfers would do anything to play. Even if there was a course on the peak of the Mount Everest, they would probably climb. So I think we're living up to that, and we're trying our best to try and beat this weather. So we are, of course, discussing a whole lot of business yet. Business has good weather, bad weather. How is it going for Experian so far here in the developed markets?
In the developed markets, the market's been tough over the last few years, but as I said, Experian kept growing throughout that period. In markets that are emerging, like Brazil and now India, now we've started in India, things are growing much, much faster. And obviously, they're one of our key growth strategies for the future.
So what's the rate of growth of the Indian market?
Well, I mean, it's going to be clearly double-digit growth. It's going to be very significant. We've just started our credit bureau business. Just 2 weeks ago, we went live with that, which is our 16th credit bureau globally. And that is obviously going to grow very fast over the next few years.
But there must be certain drivers that keep India sort of ticking for Experian. What is sort of driving the market there?
I think the Indian market, its size and the fact that you have a huge number of people in India coming into the financial and being financially active for the first time. So this is a huge number of people. That we think there are about 60 million credit active Indians right now. And look at the size of the population and look at the number of people, 25 million coming into the cities every year. This is a huge potential market for the banks, and they all need providers like ourselves to help them do business in a risk-free way and also in a way that enables them to grow their business quickly.
You know, the wonderful part about the wind and the rain here is that nothing comes from top to bottom. It comes from left to right or right to left, which is why you probably see that this course looks like the clouds have just come down upon it. Oh, this is... Okay. Even as my camera gets misty and foggy thanks to this rain, we're not going to let the course beat us to this weather. Just not. We are keeping our spirits up. And there's some really interesting stories because, Richard, you actually have played at this Celtic Manor Resort and its course much before they sort of came in the limelight thanks to the Ryder Cup.
That's right. In the very first year that it opened, we brought our client conference to Celtic Manor. I think we were probably one of the first corporate golfing events that they had. Every year we bring all our customers together to tell them what's new and to show them what else we can do for them. And this was the venue I think it was about 10 years ago.
Wow. And they wouldn't even imagine that they would actually have a plan here, though in 2001 is when they bid for Ryder Cup here in Wales. How long ago did you pick up golf?
I played with my father. In fact, when I was about 14, I had a handicap of 14, which means
Wow.
I've been going downhill ever since. But he was a great player. He loved it for the friendship, and he had a lot of good friends in the golf club. So that was where I learnt, just going around with him on a summer's evening.
So it's been your dad as inspiration, and is that true for your children as well? Do you get them to come down on the course?
Well, unfortunately not. My son has shown no interest, and my daughters think golf is an old man's sport, so I'm afraid not. They do support me when I do my running, but they don't come and watch me on the golf course.
But tell me, for you in the financial services, business is a lot on the course, right? Networking is a big piece, and in this part of the world, golf is a huge link.
It is, and we had a lot of, funny enough, some of my clients when I was working in the UK were Indian banks, and we'd go and play golf then and meet with them. And some of them have gone back to India now, like ICICI, Bank of Baroda's now over here, State
Yes.
Bank of India's over here.
Yeah.
All the major banks seem to be coming over to the UK as their first step into international opportunities, if you like.
Okay, that's great. You know, there are very few people who know this about Richard. Well, though he loves his game of golf, he's actually a marathon runner, and he's going to be in Mumbai running the Mumbai Marathon.
Hopefully, if all things go well and I don't pick up an injury here.
Yes, practice is good.
Practice is essential, yes.
Yeah. Are you ready for the weather?
The heat is not good for me. I've run the London Marathon 6 or 7 times.
Wow.
And the hotter it is, the worse I do. So how I'll do in Mumbai, I don't know.
I know, you better be prepared for that. And you know, this weather should be pleasant compared to what happens in Mumbai, for sure. Okay, we'll catch you up ahead. Wow. guys, rain check on the game. It's quite nicely raining now. But that doesn't take away the fact that we are having a great chat here with Fiddis about Experian and how it's doing back in India. Tell us about how it's functioning. We know the whole idea now, but you have a shareholding cap back in India, right?
That's right. We have a foreign direct investment cap of 49% for companies like Experian that are global credit bureau providers. And so we've partnered with 7 Indian banks to create our credit bureau company.
Okay.
And they are from the public sector, the private sector, and some non-banking finance institutions as well.
Okay. How is your experience working with Indian financial institutions? Given that they got a big thumbs up from the rest of the world for being conservative during the crisis, have you felt that they're actually world-class, functioning well?
I think you have some world-class banks, and they have already demonstrated that through their international expansion and their ability to manage very, very well through the difficult period that we've had over the last few years.
Right.
It's interesting for me to see how the public sector banks now are also beginning to become world-class and demonstrating an ability to expand internationally.
How will you keep up with the expansion of Experian in India? And what is going to we know what's going to drive growth, because you said, younger population, credit quality, credit rating of every individual.